Alrighty. Good morning, homies. This is day 2 of the snapshots. Today's Thursday. It's the 18th of June, 2026. We dove into Luke 18 today. A lot of application points from this one, so I'll just jump right into it. We started out with the parable of the persistent widow. Really cool theme in this one that's actually stated straight up in verse 1, which I don't see often with parables, so I thought that was kind of cool to see kind of the meaning, the theme of the parable right there present. Just really saying, like, when you pray, don't lose heart. Pray continually. I don't remember the verse that's found, praying continually, being consistent with prayer. But this just says don't lose heart in prayer. And it was over this widow who was going to this judge continually for basically revenge on this guy, and that the judge was not listening. And then it ends off with God saying, if this judge won't listen, but I'm here, I always will. And I kind of see it this way, like, our prayers are always answered, whether they're answered how we want them to be answered or not. Like, he will answer them how he knows is best for us, that being God, of course. They will be answered in due time, exactly how they should be answered. And that's really cool. That's cool. And then moved on to the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector, which is a pretty common one. The Pharisee's prayer is all, prideful is the best way I would put it. It's just straight prideful. And then you got the tax collector who knows he's a sinner and asks for mercy, and that's humility. So I found that contrast there, contrast between humility and pride is a very present theme there, and that's the way. Humility is the way. That should be our normal. That should be what we apply to all areas of our life, and that should be our heart, is a humble heart. So that's a great parable. That's one that's always stood out to me, sort of. Then we go down to verse 18, which is Jesus counseling the rich young ruler. Again, a very, very common one. We all know this one. But such a good prospect here with, I think idols really is what I get from it. Like, do not have an earthly idol. Have nothing before God. And, whatever you do have on earth, just know it's temporary. Like, you will leave all that behind one day, whether that's for eternity where you would like eternity or eternity otherwise. It's all going to be left behind. Nothing here is lasting. It's all going to be destroyed. That one verse, rust and moth destroy, kind of came to my head when I was reading it. But yeah, like, just don't have any ties to this earth. And then we move down to verse 24 with a cool theme, just how all things are possible with God, relating to that past parable, or not the past parable, but with the rich young ruler, saying, like, God, with God you can do anything. Kind of hard to relate those, but that was what came directly after the rich young ruler. So yeah. And then we go down once more to verse 31, where Jesus predicts his death and resurrection. And it was kind of interesting. Like, the disciples, he was predicting it to his disciples, of course. His disciples, they knew the power of Christ. They had obviously, been with him long enough to see his miracles and see his power and see what he could do. But when it came to this, they didn't understand it. They didn't understand how he could be scourged, verse 33, scourged and killed, and then rise again the third day. They just did not have the knowledge or the understanding to comprehend that. And I don't know, part of that I saw as like maybe a lack of faith, that they didn't have faith in him and understanding of what he was saying. But I also genuinely think it's exactly what it sounds like. Like, they did not believe that he could be scourged. They knew he could do anything and have power over any situation. So why would he let himself be scourged and killed? But they just didn't understand his purpose with, you know, who he was, what he was doing, and the resurrection. They didn't understand yet. They didn't understand yet. Soon enough they would. I don't believe he's in Jerusalem yet, but I mean, he's coming. Like, this is, yeah, okay, because then verse 35 says coming near Jericho. So yeah, he was not in Jerusalem yet, but he's very, very well nearing that. This is Luke 18, so we're getting down to the last couple chapters in Luke. So yeah, but that's Luke 18 with a couple application points. What I really took away from this devotional today is humility over pride with the Pharisee and the tax collector. Just humility is what should be applied over every area of our life, and it should always be contrasted with pride, you know, handling every situation with humility and a humble heart. So yeah.